Hello. Welcome to season 4, episode 3 of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter, and my amazing, always talented and smiling co-host, Rob Smith, is in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Ro?
Good. You got a haircut, a little shape up. All right, player. Okay.
Actually, it's almost time for another one. You know, I get it once a week, so this is like this is like day 6.
A little luxury item for the man.
Exactly. But I shaved off the hair today, so I can,
Can you grow a beard, or is it just one of these like things like hey?
Oh, I grow it, but the more I grow it, the more I show my age. So I've been
all right. You in that gray stage. You in that gray stage.
Cut it off.
Okay. Hey, it happens. Anyway, welcome back. We were on a little bit of a hiatus last week, so we are back. We have a new movie for you, something that dropped on Apple TV. But before we get into that, just want to catch up with Rob a little bit. Also give some highlights. We lost some very talented Black folks. Shout out to actor John Amos, known for his roles in Good Times, Roots, Coming to America. He's done tons of things, but died at the age of 84. The official OG Black dad on television back in the day. You might argue Bill Cosby, but he was the first. And then also shout out to Cissy Houston, sibling of Whitney Houston, singer whose career spanned generations and genres from gospel to pop. She sang with classic people on backup vocals for Elvis, Aretha Franklin, Van Morrison, David Bowie, Luther Vandross, and many more. So she just passed away at the age of 91. So, hey, lived a beautiful life. They will be remembered for a long, long time, hopefully forever. Also, I'm in Miami, and if you're in a bubble and not paying attention, there's a hurricane hitting Florida. Milton is doing his job in Tampa Bay, so I want to give a shout out to all the people who are going through some crazy stuff and watch some crazy videos. So thoughts and prayers with them. I am in Miami, so it's just windy. We're not getting really crazy, but I send all my thoughts and prayers to them. So
yes.
Anything you want to add, Rob?
Yeah, I think you said Cissy Houston was Whitney Houston's sister, but it was her mom. But I just wanted to clarify.
A mom. Sorry. I said yes. Woo. Yeah, that would be crazy. Sorry.
It's a mama.
Sorry, that's a mom. I apologize. I said sibling. That black don't crack. They look good. That's what happens when you look good and you're like, is that my sister? Or is that my mama? So I apologize for that. But yes.
They understand.
She would have honestly, I think she would have said that's her daughter. So I mean, that's her sister. That's how black folks do. We do like that ain't my child.
That look like your sister.
Not today. That look just like your sister. All right. Anyway, we're rest in power to both of them, and hopefully everybody's safe. And can we get rid of hurricane season? Because this is crazy.
Ay.
Every week is like something new. So anyway, anything new with you, Rob?
No, just same story. Out here crushing these auditions and just waiting to hear back. That's the story of my life. Or being put on hold and like this close. It's coming. My season is here. It's coming. I'm telling you right now, Ro.
I wonder if we will still get the same Rob when it hits. You gonna stay humble? You gonna stay humble? You gonna be like, excuse me, I can't do black film anymore. I can't.
No, black film.
I'm way too big. I'm sorry. I can't do Rewind with the Ro.
Oh, I'm way too big. It's a classic. I'm always gonna do it.
Listen. You know how that goes. We'll see.
I say I'll still be here, Ro.
All right. Gonna hold you to it. All right. Anyway, so I was going through new movies to watch, and I was like, you know what? Let's get out of the comfort zone. We can watch other movies and see some things. So we had a conversation. So we decided, let's really go out and watch two white men have a conversation. And so the movie we picked was Wolves on Apple TV, directed by John Watts. It came out last week and dropped, and I was like, you know what? He was like, when's the last time you've seen? Been 15, 16 years since Brad Pitt and George Clooney were on the same screen. The last movie was Burn After Reading, which if people kind of like those kind of movies, it was one of those quirky, weird ones, but it was good. I liked it. But that's the last time they worked together. Before that was Ocean's 11, 13, all those movies. So it was nice to see them on the screen again. So before I get into that, I want to tell you just a quick story about what the movie's about. So Clooney basically plays a professional fixer, someone hired to cover up high-profile crimes. He clashes into Brad Pitt's character, a fellow fixer as well, when they find themselves stuck on the same job. This unloads to a crazy night, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. So it's one of those comedy good guy fillers that you kind of see what's going to happen, and you don't know what's going to unfold. So for me, going into this, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I kind of like what happened. It's got a mixed review, still, closer to like 6 or something, but for the most part, a lot of people that I've talked to, like, you know what, I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie to watch. What I've seen in the movie theaters, I don't know, but I definitely was great just to watch and kind of sit back and see people you knew kind of have fun on screen again and just feel that vibe of like two gentlemen that really, hey man, we're veterans, have been in the game a long time. Let's have some fun with it. What do you think going into this?
I didn't know what it was about. I like to walk into the film and not have any clue what it's about. I actually love the film, and all the critics who have something crazy to say to me, I just feel like they're just trying to throw things out into the void and make themselves relevant. Because when you have two powerhouse actors like George Clooney and Brad Pitt, who, if you know me, you know that Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors of all time. Like, if you look at his body of work, he's a phenomenal character actor. Exactly. You can go down the roster of films that Brad Pitt has done and you can find no wrong. George Clooney, the same. I had the fortunate pleasure of meeting George Clooney and pretending like I didn't know who he was, and he loved it.
Wait. How do you go up to George Clooney and act like you don't know you were? Like, excuse me, sir.
So I had just moved out here to LA, and I hadn't just moved out here. It was like in the early stages of me moving out to LA, and I was running a restaurant. I was the GM of a restaurant, and someone made a reservation under George Clooney. And I was like, there's no way he's going to walk in.
No way in hell.
No way he made his assistant made a reservation under his name. It just wouldn't make sense. So I told the hostess, I said, I'm going to take this. Don't worry about it. So I stood at the door to make sure that I was there at the time of the reservation. And lo and behold, George Clooney walked in.
Now, was part of you hoping it was him?
Part of me was hoping.
There was a little, like, how much the percentage was it like?
I was like, there's no way they would have done it. They would have made a fake name or put it under the assistant's name. They would not have put it under his name. And he walked in, and I proceeded to pretend like I had no idea who he was. And he thought it was hilarious because he said, "Oh, I have a reservation for 2." I said, "Oh, what would be the name on the reservation?" And he said, "Clooney." And I was like, "Oh, I do see it right here." But it was like, he was great. Anyway, but I thought
it was a light flex.
He flexed a little bit, but I loved it. But I thought the film was entertaining. The pacing was amazing. It was your classic buddy romance, and of course done in a different fashion, where you have one person who like has heart and one person who has skill, and they come together, they learn from each other, they fall in love, and you watch this romance of best friends. So it was a great romance buddy comedy. I love the action, and all of the supporting characters it was just phenomenally done. That's why, for me, if you're a critic and you didn't like the film, I just feel like you're just trying to get clout by saying you didn't like something that George Clooney and Brad Pitt were in.
Yeah, the opening. So Amy Ryan's character. So my only gripe is I wish you had more Amy Ryans. She hasn't been on the screen in a while. So I mean, the last thing I saw her in was in Sugar with Colin Farrell, and I love that show. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's on Apple. But that was just a fun ride show, and she was amazing in that. So I loved it when I saw on screen. I was like, oh, okay. So we got a powerhouse here with some other powerhouses. I was like, this should be interesting. And so she's a powerful political figure who finds herself in hot water and makes the fateful call that brings in the competing wolves. And then that's where you see Brad Pitt meet George Clooney's character. And it's kind of like the old wolf versus the young wolf, right? That's why I think they said wolves instead of wolves, because they're lone wolves just trying to find their pace. But they really are similar, right? As the night goes on, you find out, oh, this is just an older and younger version of each other, and they have to work together. So it was like spitting image of like, let me see how you do it. Well, I don't want to show you my skills and stuff like that. So it was kind of funny, that back and forth, that banter. Then later, she winds up getting into a situation with young Austin Abrams. You might have seen him in Euphoria. He plays a young kid who is basically in the wrong place at the wrong time, is doing a job for a friend, and the job leads into a crazy night where he almost gets left for dead because he decides to take some drugs, and that leaves him just knocked out, unconscious. and everybody thinks he's dead for the night. And little do we know that he's alive, and stuff just gets crazy when he wakes up. So that movie unfolds to something else. I also want to give a shout out to Prerna Gunathan. Pronounce that right. I practiced like 20 times. Prerna Gunathan. She plays June, who is basically like a fixer. If you need help, if you've been shot, stabbed, or in this case, the kid was knocked out cold, she can help out. So she has a medical background, and we find out later that she's been helping the wolves in the past, and they don't even know that. And then they find themselves like, oh, how do you know her? Well, that leads to something else. So I really love.
And she's the mom in Never Have I Ever, and I love her on Never.
There you go. She's been a director too. So that's our color that we sprinkle in to the show today. So I love that. So the reason why I brought that up, I wanted to give you just some kind of base of the characters and what they were bringing to the screen. And so basically, they're trying to fix the situation, and trying to fix the situation, it gets out of hand because they find something else. I don't want to give away too many spoilers here, but they find something else that leads to a whole nother movie, and you're like, what the hell is going on? So you have to figure that out. And then that leading to Rob said earlier, we go on this crazy chase. That being from New York, ain't no way, player. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But I love to see New York, man. Anytime I can see a movie in New York and it's done well. I was reading other critics as well. They were saying the movie was too dark. And then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, it was very dark. And then they said, well, because they're so old and they're trying to mask. I'm like, these guys don't care about that, man. They're living their best lives. But I thought about it, though. The way wolves actually work is late night, in the dark. And that's why I believe the movie was so dark, because that's how they operate in the best lighting, which is none. Hey, I'm going deep, play. I'm going deep. I'm sober right. No, I was. And then, that's when my brain was working. And now it's just spitting out fire right now. That's what we do. So anyway, that's what I thought about it. I don't know. What did you think about it? Was the cinematography, was it too dark, or was it just well enough, or did it just fit the movie for what it needed to be?
No, I think whoever saw that were wearing sunglasses while they watched it at night, and they had all the lights off in their house, and their TV had a lens filter over it. It was not too dark. It was perfectly done. Like I don't understand. Again, all of these people who have these weird critiques that make zero sense, that don't really give any perspective on like the progression of the film at all. Talk about story development, talk about character development, talk about casting, talk about writing. The film was not too dark. It was actually very vibrant and colorful, but like you said, it was set at night. And I think you made a good observation. Two good observations. They were not a pack. They were lone wolves. And so they like worked independently, but happened to be in a circumstance where now they're forced to work together and develop this budding romance, which I don't want to give too much away either, puts them in a position to help each other in the end. So I thought the story altogether was very fun. It was entertaining. And to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt, who, are actors of a certain age, which I love, playing these action hero I don't want to say hero action adventure.
Too much action. It was like enough for, they might have some stairs.
We had some car chases, we had some shootouts, we had some fun, but to see them in that world as these fixers was fun. And it was a new take on this whole world of fixers. We've seen fixers in so many different scenarios, and it was fun to see two fixers being put together to have to clean up a mess together and figure it out. And like you said, I think one of the fun parts was the banter between Brad Pitt and George Clooney's characters as they like discovered little secrets of how the other person cleans things up. The way they would lift a body, or the way they would do this, and they're commenting on it in real time, but still being like competitive and combative. Yeah. So it was fun. And that's why film should be fun. Film should be engaging. And again, these critics are crazy.
All right. Yeah. So going back to the casting, I thought they did a really great job at everybody. Normally when you do a film that's taking place in one day, let alone one night. It can be chaotic and just thrown all over the place. So that was I went in there, I was like, is this movie going to take place in one day? Like 24 hours? I was like, ugh. I was like, I hate when they do that because it's very rare that a movie gets it right. And they did a great job, I think, personally, to encapsulate the energy of the film, what needed to be done, what happened, and where we're at, right? And so I love that pace of it. It wasn't too – it starts off pretty slow. You know, I've watched this movie like now 4 times, and I always fall asleep in the beginning because it's after seeing the first – I know the first time I didn't, but after seeing the first time I was like, oh, and then when it picks up, like you're just like, oh, you're on this roller coaster ride, right? And you're just trying to figure out everything, and then something else unfolds. You're like, oh, shoot, now we got to do this, and so now we got to do that. And then what really pulls at your heartstrings, you don't know like who to support because you don't know if they're going to go against each other at some point because they have to work together. But also you don't know what the kid is the outcome of the kid that's involved, right? And so all these things are coming together and they have to deal with that. And you just don't know where the movie's going to go, which I love that spin on it. You know, you think it's going to go this way and you're like, oh, wow, when something totally different. And that was surprising. And that kind of kept you engaged, which I loved about that. And then it wasn't this drawn out, like, let's get the mob involved. Let's do this and that. It was like, it came at the right time. It wasn't forced. And that's what I loved about this movie is that a lot of this stuff wasn't forced. It felt like, they literally had a good time on set and they made that movie enjoyable. You're like, you know what? I know how these young kids, like they're chasing the kid. And I was like, you ever chase? I got 2 dogs right now. The puppy like chasing around like, you're like, just stop, stay still. You're okay. Just listen to us. Listen to me. And then you're like, okay. And then like, thank you. Like we're trying to help you. Just please stop.
Well, so I don't think they were trying to help him at first.
Well, they were trying to figure out what was going on. And then from there, we can try to decide whether or not we're going to help you or not. Same thing I decide my dog every night.
The wet socks pounded against the.
Yeah, I was like, this
so funny. It was just so well done. The sound effect.
I tore a knee. I tore an ankle. I ripped everything watching this kid run around. I was like, oh man, I just blew my knee out. I just blew my ankle out.
In wet, muddy socks.
Like, yeah. There's no way. I was like, there's no way. In New York,
it was fun watching them develop a relationship with his character, and I think we see them in real time develop an affinity for him when they're like, tell us what happened. And he has this long run-on monologue about his day. And it was really, really, it was a great performance on his part too. And I just wanted to say the casting director, because I like that we do this from time to time, and shout out the casting director. The casting director's name is Rachel Tenner. And Rachel Tenner has cast things like Griselda, Fargo, The Boys in the Boat, and plenty of other projects. So it was very well cast, and I'm glad casting directors are starting.
What's her name again?
Rachel Tenner. And
Rachel Tenner. Can you please look at Rob Smith, please? Rachel, look at Rob.
But I'm glad they're starting to get their just due, and like they'll be up for an Academy Award coming soon. That's not this year, but I think the following. But yeah, so I'm it was very well done, and I thought the cast did a great job.
Yeah, again, knocked it out of the park. And you know what I thought about Austin Abrams' character? I was like, wow, you sat in the room, right, as they interrogated you, and I can't even imagine how he was probably nervous out of his gourd, like, what the hell, and keep a straight face and do your line and also go with the tempo of 2 great actors. And he kept up with them. And I was shocked. I was like, who's this young guy? And I was like, oh, that's a dude I was like, oh, get out of here. And I shout out to him, man. I went in there like, who the hell is this? And he was like, because the way they make him seem, he's like a nobody. And then you're like, oh, this kid can act. He got some skills. So I was like, okay. I was like, why do they have a nobody in this film? And sure enough, he held it. And he reminded you of one of those kids, right? That was like, just like, hey man, this is what I did in my day. I woke up and you're like, motherfucker. When you ask a kid nowadays, like, hey, so what's going on? Like, well, and I do this and then I do that. And like, just get to the point.
Yeah.
And then having that patience, I love that balance too. It was like a mom and dad balance too, right? It's like, hey, or a good cop, bad cop, like the way they went into the questioning. And so I kind of love that balance. Like, hey, you go this way, I go that way, and maybe we'll get an answer for him. And then it's just like, no, we need the answers now because time is running short. And so I kind of love that. I could have dealt without some of the dancing scenes on the floor. It was funny, but I was like a little drawn out. But That song
at the wedding.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun. I was like, it was unnecessary, but I was like, really? That's what we're doing? I was like, okay. So I was afraid with that scene that it was gonna go to like one of those
weird place.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be awful now. Here it goes. But they do they do just enough. You were nervous?
I wasn't nervous. I do get nervous, and then I get frustrated if I watch a TV show that has a whole musical episode. Or if I watch a movie and they have a segment that's like musical theater and dancing. I'm like, were we just out of ideas? That bothers me. This did not. Like I thought it worked fine because it was a great segue into the thing that happens next because they're at the wedding of one of their clients who they don't want to see them there together because then he'll think that they're in cahoots against him, which ends up happening. So it's this whole prelude to the big shootout that happens next. So it was like, I thought it worked well.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the only part I was nervous about, but everything was great. Again, I'm really disappointed. My biggest disappointment is that Amy Ryan is not included more in this.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like the part called for it, she was just kind of the setup person. Like she set up the scenario for the film, and the most important person was the person she was with in the scenario. So it wasn't like she wasn't the most important. She was a supporting part of the story, which I do wish she was there more, but it worked perfectly.
Oh, one of the things that I really love, I'm going to say this. I hope anybody who sees this, I want you to go on Instagram, and I need you to post this. One of the best things about this movie is the soundtrack. And Sade is played in this movie. There's other great songs in this movie as well. But Sade, can we do one more tour, baby girl? Please.
I saw her in LA.
I saw her. I had the pleasure of seeing her with Maxwell.
I think Maxwell was there when I saw her.
It was a Valentine's Day show, and it was like her and Maxwell, and I was like, holy cow! And I'll never forget that night, because everybody was couples, and there was one black couple, and they brought their friend, and this dude was singing in my ear. I was like, bro,
you were like, we're not here together.
Yeah, bro. I was like, I'm with my girlfriend at the time. I was like, could you please, brother, stop singing in my ear? This is no ordinary love. I like it from Sade and not from you.
Bro, he's trying to tell you something.
I know. I was like, and it was crazy because you saw couples, but then when she started singing, everybody became one. And I'm looking like, bro, if you don't get your off of me,
you like scooch over a little bit.
Yeah, scooch over. I was like, it's not that, but you don't listen. There's a couple of concerts, man. If someone got an extra ticket, stay your ass home.
See, my friend had an extra ticket, and she gave me, my friend Dawn, shout out Dawn. Dawn Robinson, she gave me her ticket so we could go together. So I went with Dawn. We went together to see.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. And then we're like, oh, man,
a little Sade now.
Yeah. So I was like, shout out to Sade. If you don't have Sade, the greatest hits album is you just play that. You can play. You can play Sade anywhere. And that's what I love because Sade, it felt like a black film for a second. But like no, seriously. I went in there. I was like, what's Clooney doing? Is he trying to what's he doing? No, but it set the vibe for New York.
Babies made on this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It set the vibe for New York. It set just the mood, which I was like when he's driving in the car and you see him going to work, and I'm like, oh man, because it's like the calm before the storm. And that song, when it hits just right, it's like, whoo, beautiful. So shout out. No, there's also a bunch of amazing other songs in this, but that was the one that hit home for me. I was like, Sade. And they paid her too. That's hey, get that money, girl. Unless Apple did some crazy stuff and finagle that song out of you.
No, I'm looking at the soundtrack now and I don't see it on there. So they might have done something.
Yeah, right. I hope that's not. it. Anything you want to add? How about the ending for you?
I think it left it open for us to get a sequel.
Yeah, I like that. I love the camaraderie with them, and then the little train thing. I won't give that away, but that I was crying. I was almost like no. I was almost about to shed a tear. I was like no, and I was like, I thought it was some collateral stuff, and I was like no, and then I was like okay, we're good. It was
we're good. We're good. I think we got a sequel coming. So Rachel Tenner, I'm here. I'm ready. Go ahead.
There you go. Give it to him, Rachel.
Follow her on Instagram. Hold on.
He just went. Oh God, he ain't even following you.
Yes, I'm going to now. I'm about to follow him now. We're about to be Instagram friends.
We about to post his review. Hey,
post it.
Hire Rachel.
Tag her.
Hire Rachel. She doing work out there. Men, those men look good. Got all the black stuff on them, and just looking black and gray. And then, that was the funny part when they had to give her a new outfit, and they both had like.
And then they repurposed the new outfit.
Yeah.
For him, I loved it. It was great. It was a great carryover of that joke.
Yeah. Again, it's funny. It's high action. Very well. Either was thought out very well. And it's just a great fun ride. You can see with your significant other, or just with your boys, or just by yourself. So anybody can watch this, but your kids. And you just have a good time. Anything you want to add, Rob?
Yeah, I was going to say it was written by John Watts, and I just wanted to throw that out there too. I like to shout out the people who nobody's talking about. So
I said John Watts. I started the show. Directed by John Watts.
Well, it was written by him too. Yeah.
Okay. Directed and written.
Well, he wrote it and directed it. Look at that.
Relax, John. Relax, John. You only get one title here, John. Get directed.
And George Clooney and Brad Pitt also threw their themselves in the ring as producers on this too. So
they were like, if you want this movie done, we need producer titles. That's how this works. I'm not stupid. This is how this works. I need producer titles.
That's how it works.
Get that money. That's generational wealth. That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is.
So yes, please check this movie out. It is on Apple TV. It's a fun watch, really good time. Rob, we missed this. What are you gonna give it?
I am gonna give this. Ro, why do you put me on the spot like this?
What do you mean? That's part of your job. We call this Rob's Corner. When Rob gives a review, everybody's excited to see what review you're gonna give it. And Rob, does it mean you're not gonna give it a 10? Is this crazy?
I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
You're such a liar. You're such a liar.
10 out of 10.
Rob, give it what you were gonna give it, because you were hesitating. Normally your 10s just fly out your mouth. You were hesitating on the 10.
No, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. One, because me and George Clooney have met each other. And two, because Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors. And three, because I thought it was phenomenally done. And all of these film critics are losing their mind and just trying to get some kind of weird clout by giving this movie bad reviews. So I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, even though my 10 out of 10 is not shouting from the rafters like all of these other reviewers. But, Ro, I think our opinion matters, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
All right, you heard it from here. Rob's reviews. That's what he does. He gives movies 10s.
Only the good ones. Only the good ones.
Only the good ones. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Why? Where did it lose a 1.5,
Ro?
Val gave you a thumbs up. She gave me a heart on my 10. She gave you a thumbs up on your 8.5.
8.5. Listen, you can't throw 10s out like that, bro. You give 10s out like it's $1 bills at a strip club.
No, I don't.
That's how you were giving 10s out. At least last season, that's how you were giving out 10s. Like, you get a 10. You are Oprah. You get a 10. You get a 10.
Everybody gets a 10. Listen. You pick good projects though. You got to pick something trash, and then I will give it a trash can dumpster fire review.
You don't even do that, which I respect. You're respectful.
Before.
You didn't really. I
didn't give it a number. I just said let's pass on doing this because it would have been a 0.
All right. Hey, we're honest here. I'm sorry, we're honest here. Blackfilm.com. We are with Ro. We're here every Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. 9:30. Same time.
We got
some new stuff coming for you.
One day we're gonna get Koku here. One day.
Yes, we're supposed to have Koku, our star, one of our star interviewers, and she is amazing on so many levels. She speaks 5 languages. I don't know what they are, but she speaks them. They're accents though. They're 5 different accents and dialects. So she'll give you crazy eye. That's 1, and then her neck will do something extra. That's 2, and then the accent will come to that, which is 3. There's 2 other ones I can't get in right now, but you'll see what I'm talking about when you see Koku. You know, oh wow, that girl got levels on a bunch of levels. So we'll have her on here for something really good, and kind of go from there. But anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Hopefully see you next week if we don't get washed away. All right.
Well,
Everybody
I'm in California right now, so I'm not getting washed away anywhere.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
But do I care about the people of Florida? Stay safe. I hope you're sheltering. I hope everybody left. My whole family forced my nephew to get out. He was in Tampa. We were like, if you don't get
your behind now, you know what?
Now, he's like, I'm gonna leave tomorrow, sir. Go now. So I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody listened to the warnings and got out as quickly as you can because your life is more important than your valuables. All that good stuff.
Oh, question for you. Last thing. If you would you had to take one thing with you, your possession, you know, because the storm's coming your way, what are you taking? You can only take one thing. Ooh.
It's really nothing I care about that much.
Okay, so you don't need that one thing.
Literally, I thought about this yesterday. I was like, I love my artwork. Like I have artwork from.
So one piece of artwork that you can take. Which one is it?
I don't know. But literally, I thought about this yesterday. I was like, if they told me that there was going to be 7 feet of water that could enter my place of residence, I would have to stack all of my artwork on the highest point.
Your place is gone. Choose one piece of artwork.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so it's artwork.
Well, maybe the one I painted right here.
Okay, so the one you painted.
Right. That
one on top.
Yeah, the one I painted.
The one on the blue.
This is also my friend. His mother passed away, and she was an artist, and a gallery had her work in their gallery. That's this one below.
Yeah, I like that one.
And he knew that I had painted this one, and he sued the gallery, and they had to return. They tripled the price. The day his mom passed away, they tripled the price of all of her work and sold it.
Really?
So he sued them, and they had to return all of her artwork to him because they didn't have permission from him to sell her works. So
they didn't even offer him the money from it?
No.
Damn.
So he knew I had painted this, and so he gifted me with this one. And so I treasure both of these. So I don't know. It's very hard for me to say. And then I have art from all of the countries I've traveled to. I buy art when I travel. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard one. And then my dog's ashes are there too. But I need to go spread those somewhere. It's a lot.
All right. Sorry, everybody. I didn't know. You never know what you're gonna get from Rob. I was like, there. You know, you're going deep, and then he was like, "Well, you know, I'm just gonna go on and just do what I want."
Oh God.
All right. Anyway,
what about you, Ro? What's the thing you would do?
That's a great question.
You better say your girlfriend.
What? No, she's by herself. She's got to grab the two dogs. She's got to grab the two dogs. Someone's got to grab the dogs. I'm not.
You get to grab one dog. She gets to grab.
I'm not grabbing those dogs. I didn't have a choice on either one of those dogs. Am I losing my hair? I don't know. I'm getting gray. Definitely getting gray from these dogs. Oh, what I would take. That's a good question because things you can get again, but definitely something. I have a Jets blazer that I made. And so I had a blazer company back in the day before COVID. I had a blazer company. So only because it reminds me of the work it would be the original one that I made. And I didn't even make it. I just put a patch on it, but it created the idea for me to make more and actually get a manufacturer and like all that stuff.
You don't have to justify it. It's special to you.
No, but you know, people are like, oh, I was like, no, like the original. You're like, oh, and then people was like, how did you come with that idea? I was like, and this is the original. So. But that's one day I want to put it in like one, you know, when you frame like a jersey or something like that. I definitely want to frame that because that sparked a lot of ideas that made me happy in other people. So
joy is important.
So what we do here, people, we go deep. Sometimes deep in the vault, sometimes too deep that we don't know where to stop. Anyway, thank you for tuning in again to Rewind with Ro and Rob Smith, of course, the talented future superstar. Rob Smith. Rob, you ever do some action stuff?
Not yet.
That's what you need to start doing, Rob. You need on the side. You need to go start shooting some guns and doing that
put on some spandex.
That tie stuff. Yeah, no. I'm just saying because I need to see. You know,
I can do it.
No, see, not like that, Rob. No.
That's what you did. You said.
No. like you gotta. Okay.
Not on
this. All right. Next week. Anyway, thank you all. Have a good night. See you next week.